Sometimes it's not the outside world that drains you, it's the people you let inside your home. You host them, offer them food, make them feel welcome. But after they leave, something feels off. Not always dramatic, just uncomfortable. You notice tension, mood changes, even small arguments suddenly spark between family members, and you can't explain why. It happens more often than people admit, because not everyone who enters your home brings good intentions. Some come with heavy hearts, hidden envy, or even words that seem harmless but slowly damage your peace. And in Islam, we're not taught to let everyone in freely. We're taught to protect our homes the same way we protect our hearts. Because what happens inside your home shapes your prayer, your mood, your family, and your connection with Allah. In this video, we'll talk about 5 types of people you should be very cautious about allowing into your home. Not to judge them, but to protect the atmosphere Allah blessed you with. And I genuinely invite you to watch till the very end, without skipping any part, because one of these might feel uncomfortably familiar, and realizing it could be the beginning of restoring peace where it matters most. Number 1, the one who brings gossip into your home. It starts small. They walk in, sit down, maybe compliment your home, smile politely. But before long, the real reason they came shows up. Suddenly, they're talking about someone else. What she did, what he said. They bring stories from other people's homes and dump them into yours. While your kids are listening, your spouse is half smiling, and you're stuck nodding because you don't want to seem rude. And here's the danger. Gossip doesn't just stay in conversation. It spreads into the walls of your home. It plants seeds of judgment, arrogance, or even jealousy without you realizing it. Abu Huraira reported that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do you know what is backbiting?" The companion said, "Allah and his messenger know best." He said, "Backbiting is to mention something about your brother that he dislikes." Someone asked, "What if what I said about him is true?" The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, "If what you said about him is true, then you have backbitten him, and if it is false, then you have slandered him." Now imagine letting that person sit for hours in your living room, in front of your family, in front of your children, letting their words shape the atmosphere of your home. It's not about cutting them off entirely. It's about boundaries. It's okay to say, "Let's not talk about others while we're here." It's okay to change the topic, to keep the visit short, or to stop inviting someone whose presence constantly stirs drama. Because gossip isn't just a sin, it's a spiritual toxin. And your home should be a place of peace, not a place where someone else's problems are replayed and magnified. Number 2, the one who always complains, criticizes, or brings a negative vibe. There are some people who never have anything good to say. You sit with them for 5 minutes and you already feel heavier. They complain about life, mock others, pick apart your choices, or point out flaws in everything you do. They don't celebrate anything. They don't uplift. They drain. And at first, you might try to excuse it. Maybe they're just going through something. But eventually, you notice your mood shifts after being around them. You start doubting your blessings. You feel annoyed with your own family. You feel exhausted, and you haven't even done anything. That's because negativity is spiritually contagious. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "A person is upon the religion of their close companion, so be careful who you take as a friend." And sometimes it's not about lifelong friendship. It's about who you allow to sit in your space, share your moments, and influence your peace. If someone's presence constantly brings criticism, judgment, sarcasm, or emotional heaviness, you don't need to hate them, but you do need to protect your mindset. Because your surroundings shape your attitude, and your attitude shapes your deen. So ask yourself, Do I feel closer to Allah after spending time with them? Or do I feel more distracted, bitter, or emotionally off? That one question might tell you everything you need to know. No. 3. The one who normalizes haram and makes you feel too Islamic. You're trying to change, trying to protect your eyes, your thoughts, your tongue, your lifestyle. You want to get closer to Allah, step by step. But then someone close to you says things like, "You're too serious now. Come on, lighten up. It's not that deep. Everyone does this, bro. Don't overthink it." At first, it sounds like a joke. But over time, they make you feel like you're the problem, like your effort to be better is too much, like staying away from haram means you're being judgmental or boring. And this is exactly how Satan works. Not by dragging you into sin directly, but by surrounding you with people who make disobedience feel casual and obedience feel extreme. And this isn't just strangers. It can be close friends, co-workers, even relatives. They bring music loudly wherever they go. They joke about relationships, zina, and things you're trying to stay away from. They make fun of hijab, beard, or Islamic values, without realizing they're feeding a slow spiritual erosion. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The example of a good companion and a bad one is like that of the seller of musk and the blacksmith. You'll either leave with a pleasant scent or your clothes burnt." And in today's world, that blacksmith might be the one who constantly puts you in environments where Allah is forgotten and sin is treated like a joke. If every time you're around someone, your hierarchy starts dropping, your standards weaken, and you find yourself doing things you promised to stop, then it's time to rethink who you're giving access to your space. Because someone who makes you feel ashamed of your deen is not protecting you, and your peace will always suffer in places where Allah is not remembered. Number, the one who's obsessed with showing off and making you feel less. They walk in, and you already know what's coming. The brand names, the latest phone, the vacation story they've told 5 times, just loud enough so everyone hears. And somehow, in every conversation, it circles back to them. What they have, who they know, how blessed they are. Now don't get it wrong, there's nothing wrong with sharing your blessings. But when someone's presence constantly makes you feel smaller, behind in life, or ashamed of your simplicity, that's not inspiration, that's subtle arrogance. And in today's world, this kind of behavior isn't rare, it's everywhere. Instagram captions, dinner tables, weddings, even family meetups. People don't just visit anymore, they perform. And if you're not careful, their performance can start affecting your contentment. You start comparing, doubting your life choices, rushing to spend on things you don't need just to keep up. You forget the peace you had before they showed up, and slowly, without realizing, shukr starts fading. You stop thanking Allah for what you have because you're too busy focusing on what you don't. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Look at those below you and not those above you, for this is better to avoid belittling the favors of Allah upon you." So if someone constantly brings a competitive energy into your space, if you feel more anxious than inspired after their visit, if you find yourself doubting your blessings just because of their presence, then protect your peace. Because contentment doesn't grow in a place where someone else is always trying to prove they have more than you. Number 5, the one who disrespects your boundaries and faith. You set your lines. You don't like music playing in your space. You don't allow inappropriate jokes around your kids. You try to keep things halal, respectful and clean. But then someone visits, and suddenly, everything you stood for feels too much. They roll their eyes when you lower the volume. They joke when you ask them to watch their language. They say things like, "Don't be so uptight, we're family," or "It's not that serious." And slowly, your own rules start bending, just to avoid tension, just to keep the peace, just to not feel like the religious one. But here's the truth. Peace that requires you to abandon your principles is not peace. It's surrender. And when you constantly allow people to walk all over your values just to keep it polite, you're not just hurting yourself. You're teaching your children, your spouse, and even your own heart that your faith is flexible when people challenge it. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, never forced religion on anyone, but he also never allowed mockery or disrespect of Allah's commands in his presence. And in our culture today, where people casually normalize things that destroy Barakah, you have every right to say, not here, not around my family, not in my space. It's not about ego. It's not about judgment. It's about protecting the blessing Allah gave you and standing for it without apology. If someone can't respect your faith, your boundaries, your intention to live with dignity, then maybe they don't deserve that kind of access to your space in the first place. My dear brothers and sisters, it's easy to hear a topic like this and start thinking about everyone else. Who you should remove, who you should avoid, who needs to get out of your life. But before you close this video with a heavy hand, take a deep breath. Because Islam is not about turning your back on people. It's about protecting your heart without hardening it. Yes, we've discussed 5 types of people to be cautious about, but that caution should be guided by wisdom, not arrogance. The goal isn't to cut everyone off. The goal is to set boundaries with grace, to remain polite, to be kind, to correct with good character without becoming cold or harsh. And don't forget, sometimes the people we love the most make mistakes. They say the wrong thing. They bring the wrong energy. They might not even realize the effect they're having. That doesn't mean you push them away forever. It means you lead with gentle firmness. You protect your space, but you also protect your relationships. Because in Islam, cutting off ties, especially family, is never encouraged. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Whoever severs the ties of kinship will not enter paradise." So, don't let this reminder make your heart harder. Let it make your vision clearer. Protect your home, protect your heart, but protect your relationships too, by handling them with adab, sabr, and sincerity. And if any of the signs today made you think about people in your life, take a moment to also think, have I ever been that person to someone else? If the answer is yes, then make a simple dua right now. Ya Allah, remove every trait from me that pushes others away from you. Purify my company and make me someone who brings barakah wherever I go. And if this message touched your heart, comment below. Ya Allah, protect my peace and soften my heart. Because someone else might read your words and feel inspired to reflect on their own. And lastly, don't forget, liking and subscribing cost nothing, but it helps us continue creating reminders that protect hearts and strengthen Iman in a world full of noise. May Allah surround you with righteous companions, protect your home with blessing, and guide your heart toward balance, humility, and peace. Ameen.